The Kawasaki brute force has a reputation for being fast, and it is. So is the Sportsman 800. As you can see, both machines are roughly equal in top speed. Now think about this. You're going down an incline and come across an obstacle. You need four-wheel drive in reverse right now. With the brute force, you have to pull and hold the differential lever and shift into four-wheel drive. Give it the gas and you're still in two-wheel drive. The Kawasaki needs to roll forward before four-wheel drive locks in. That's just not practical or realistic. The Sportsman gives you all-wheel drive on demand. That means right now, so you can get out of a tight spot with ease. Plus, with the Sportsman, you get standard features that work harder, like electronic fuel injection, 3-star tires, twice the rack capacity, more suspension, and towing capability. The Sportsman 800 EFI and the brute force are both fast machines, but the Sportsman dominates the brute force overall, with more power, a better ride, and all the features you need on the trail or at work. Now let's take a look at the King Quad. Take these machines out of the parking lot and their differences become clear. The rock sled comparison tells a story the press hasn't mentioned. Once you get it out of the showroom, the King Quad doesn't carry much weight. But the Sportsman 700 sure can. The last place you want to lose power is when you need it most, in four-wheel drive. In this test, both machines start out in four-wheel drive, high gear at the starting line. When the flag is dropped, both machines accelerate. The King Quad limits you to 17 miles per hour, while the Sportsman keeps on going. Don't let your machine dictate your ride. For the all-wheel drive test, the King Quad needs to first push the four-wheel drive button. You really only have a three-wheel drive limited slip system. To get true four-wheel drive, you need to flip the differential lock lever. Even with power to all four wheels, the King Quad struggles to get over the obstacle. Switch the Sportsman to all-wheel drive and it senses you need power to all four wheels. Again, don't forget about the details that make a difference in the real world. We have cast rims versus their stamped rims. Our 3-star radial versus 2-star bias tires. The King Quad storage won't even hold a water bottle up front. The Polaris's integrated storage up front holds plenty of extra gear, supplies, and tools. Their skid protection is flimsy plastic. Polaris has a rugged steel undercarriage. That kind of protection is priceless when you're off-road. It's not hard to see which machine was built for the real world. Now let's compare the Sportsman 500 EFI and the Foreman 500. The truth is, Honda is stuck in the past using old technology. This familiar test shows again why Honda's limited slip differential four-wheel drive system is effectively only three-wheel drive. The Sportsman has true all-wheel drive, so you can automatically have power to all four wheels when you need it. The Foreman's performance fades in changing climates and conditions. But with the Sportsman 500's electronic fuel injection, there's no choke to mess with and no need to rejet. We introduced and have been refining our independent rear suspension for over 10 years. The Sportsman's advanced EFI technology automatically adjusts for changes in temperature and altitude. So while the Honda relies on old tire technology, the Sportsman 500 EFI keeps moving forward. Let's compare the Yamaha Kodiak against the Sportsman 450 and see which machine gives you more. In a flat-out drag race, the Sportsman 450 has better acceleration off the line and gets to the finish line first. When it comes to four-wheel drive, the Kodiak barely gets by. Push the four-wheel drive button and you really have a three-wheel drive limited slip system. To get true four-wheel drive, you need to flip the lever and push the diff lock button. How would you like to discover this when you're stuck in the mud? On a Sportsman, all-wheel drive is all-wheel drive. Right now, get on and go. No ifs, ands, or buts. And Polaris is built with better components, top to bottom. More rubber, more CV protection, more rack capacity. When you add it all up, component for component, Polaris gives you more. As you can see, the Sportsman line was built for the real world with the rider in mind. It doesn't stop with the machine itself either. With the award-winning lock and ride system, pure Polaris accessories install in seconds and give riders more time on the trail and less time in the garage. Here's the bottom line. Feature for feature, model for model, Polaris Sportsman simply can't be matched. Check it out for yourself. Take a look, take a ride, and experience the complete package that only the Sportsman delivers. Sportsman, the world's toughest ATVs.
The Sportsman X2 is the most versatile ATV you can buy. Feature for feature, other vehicles in its class don't even come close. The BRP Outlander 400 Max, the Articat TRV, and the Sportsman X2 all have passenger seats, but that's where the similarity ends. The Polaris Sportsman X2 is, without a doubt, the most versatile ATV ever built. In 10 seconds or less, it transforms from a one-up to a two-up ATV. It has the legendary smooth Sportsman ride, a powerful 500cc engine. The Sportsman X2 has electronic fuel injection, an integrated front storage box, on-demand all-wheel drive, VersaTrack with turf mode to minimize damage when riding on grass and sensitive terrain, plus dual rear work lights and a dump box, perfect for countless off-road uses. The beauty of a two-up ATV is its versatility. You can ride solo for work or play, and you can ride with a passenger. Let's take a closer look at the passenger seats on the three ATVs. This competitive two-up ATV, the Outlander 400 Max, uses a removable passenger seat. Once it's off, it can be difficult to put back on. And what do you do with the seat? Where do you put it? What if you decide to ride two-up out on the trail and the seat is back in the truck? In addition, the Outlander Max seat provides a cramped space for riders. It's hard to line up and secure. With the passenger seat off, you're short on driver's seat length. And even with the small storage compartment that can replace the passenger seat, you're short on cargo capacity. The same goes for another competitive two-up vehicle, the Articat TRV. The seat is either on or it's left behind. It's not very roomy for either driver or passenger. And check out the mechanism that holds the seat in place. 2 clips, is that all that holds your passenger on? Now let's take a look at the Sportsman X2. It's the only one that transforms to a two-up ATV with an adjustable backrest. And unlike the others, it doesn't make you leave the seat behind. The seat stays with you. It folds down in 10 seconds, transforming the X2 into a one-up ATV with a cargo box that hauls and dumps. Perfect for hunting, farming, landscaping, and trail riding. There's more. Instead of a passenger seat with a stepped design like the other vehicles use, the Sportsman X2 features a passenger seat on the same level as the driver's seat for a lower center of gravity, a better fit, and a feeling of security while trail riding. The Sportsman X2 has the highest payload of the 3 vehicles and is the only one with a large front storage box. The Sportsman X2 has a total rack and box capacity of 490 pounds. That's 190 pounds greater than the Outlander Max and 390 pounds greater than the Articat TRV, unless you buy an accessory rear rack that costs you an extra $260. The Sportsman X2 features a large integrated front storage box that carries and protects far more supplies and trail gear. And you don't have to unload everything to get at your cargo. The TRV has a small glove box, forcing you to leave cargo behind. The Outlander Max also has limited storage. The Sportsman X2 can carry far more gear and equipment. It's fully sealed to lock out weather, and it has 2 latches to keep the cover closed, securing and protecting your clothes, food, tools, you name it. The Polaris Sportsman was the first ATV with independent rear suspension, and it's still the best. The smooth Sportsman ride is legendary, and now it's better than ever with the new rolled IRS for less squat due to its recessional wheel travel design. The 2-stage springs automatically optimize the ride for light or heavy loads. The Sportsman X2 handles rugged terrain easily with 11 inches of ground clearance and 8.8 inches of wheel travel. The Cat TRV places its rear spring directly under the passenger's spine. Ouch! The Outlander Max places its rear spring slightly forward and directly under the passenger's seat. The Sportsman X2 with its rolled IRS is tipped back to absorb energy. That makes it handle better with a load than the competition. The springs are also farther apart front to back, with the passenger clearly forward of the rear spring. That helps create a smooth, comfortable ride as well as superior handling. The other ATVs use a cantilever design. The Sportsman X2 places its spring behind the wheel hub, while the TRV and Max put theirs in front. Translation, loaded or unloaded, the Sportsman X2 handles the same without sacrificing performance, ride, or comfort.
How many times have you had to fiddle with a choke and wait for your ATV to fire up? The Sportsman X2 is the only ATV in its class with electronic fuel injection for faster starts and better overall performance. The other carbureted engines struggle in extremes of heat and cold. This is a carb for the Articat TRV. temperature and altitude changes dramatically affect its performance. The Sportsman X2 uses EFI to automatically compensate to set the ideal timing curve and fuel mixture. For every 1,000 feet above sea level, engines lose power. And at 6,000 feet, it's recommended that you rejet carbureted engines. EFI automatically adjusts to changing altitudes and temperatures. Bottom line, Sportsman X2 with EFI gives you faster starts, no jetting, better fuel economy, better throttle response, especially important when riding with a passenger, plus consistent performance in varying weather conditions and altitudes. Only the Sportsman X2 gives you the option of the one-wheel drive turf mode, two-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. Let's take a look at the unique benefits of this exclusive system and how it compares to the other two-up ATVs. The Articat TRV has a limited slip front differential. In tough situations where you need four-wheel drive, it will not spin both front wheels. You're stuck with 3.5-wheel drive. The Outlander Max uses a Visco-Lock system that locks in the front wheels, but not until the front wheels have made 3 complete revolutions. The Sportsman X2 gives you a choice of two-wheel drive or on-demand all-wheel drive. This unique system senses when the rear wheels slip, then automatically locks in the front wheels, delivering full torque for superior traction over logs and boulders. The system automatically reverts back to two-wheel drive until it's needed again. And the X2 is the only one of the 3 vehicles with turf mode. It lets you unlock the rear differential, delivering a 20% tighter turning radius when loaded than in two-wheel drive, allowing you to get through tight spots that stop the TRV and Outlander Max in their tracks. The Sportsman X2's exclusive turf mode also lets you ride with less damage to grass or other sensitive terrain. The Sportsman X2 gives you these extra features not found on the Outlander Max or the Articat TRV. It has the largest fuel tank for longer rides. It has the highest payload, which includes riders and gear. And only the Sportsman X2 has dual rear work lights. Here's another great feature found only on the Sportsman X2. It's the industry-exclusive lock and ride accessory system. Using expansion anchors and mounting holes in the top of the box, it takes just seconds to attach a gun scabbard or other accessories. There's even a quick attach windshield you can put on or take off in just 15 seconds. The Glacier Plow, a Polaris exclusive, features a frame that bolts on in minutes. With the frame in place, you can ride up and attach the plow to the X2 in 30 seconds. Polaris has raised the bar. Other two-up ATVs don't even come close to the versatility, performance, and extra features found on the Sportsman X2. The Polaris Sportsman X2. It is the most versatile ATV you can buy.
What do you do when you've created the world's toughest ATVs? When you've won ATV of the Year 3 out of the last 4 years? You go back to the drawing board and try to do even better. And that's exactly what we did. The result is the all-new Polaris Hawkeye 2x4 and 4x4. The exciting 300 Hawkeye creates a whole new class of ATVs, a no-compromise midsize with all the features of the big boys. Most important of all, this machine is rated TUF Tough. Remember these 3 letters. T is technical superiority, U is uncompromising performance, and F is full-featured. So remember TUF Tough. That's what the new Hawkeye is all about. The Hawkeye is all new from the ground up. Check out the vital statistics. Independent rear suspension with front struts, 299cc 4-stroke engine, automatic PVT with on-demand all-wheel drive, 4-wheel disc brakes, and more storage capacity than the competition. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's see how the Hawkeye compares to the competition and leads the class.
Technical superiority.
One of the most important features of the new Hawkeye is independent rear suspension. If you only remember one thing, remember this: nobody else in the class has it. It helps Hawkeye ride smoother, handle better, and deliver power to the ground better than Honda or Suzuki. IRS and front struts are the kind of big machine features that make Hawkeye an outstanding value. McPherson struts provide comfort and stability up front. Over the bumps, the Hawkeye really soaks up the rough stuff. See how Hawkeye keeps everything smooth and in control. No hopping, no skipping, no jumping. Just one smooth ride. Honda and Suzuki can hardly stay on the trail. Advantage? Hawkeye. Ground clearance is a critical measure of any off-road machine. Once again, independent rear suspension comes to the rescue, giving the Hawkeye 8 inches of clearance, the most in its class. With only 6.3 inches for the Honda, it scrapes and bounces over the rocks, denting the protective plate. Straight axles? Well, let's just say they have their own hang-ups. Hawkeye hammers the competition in ground clearance. Advantage? Hawkeye. Here's the summary. IRS, the competition doesn't have it. McPherson struts soak up the rough stuff. More ground clearance over trail hazards.
Uncompromised performance.
The engine and drivetrain are all new, designed specifically for the Hawkeye frame. The powerful 299cc 4-stroke provides plenty of muscle and all the speed and power you could want in a mid-size machine. The oil cooler is integrated into the engine block. No hoses to break or leak. The integrated PVT transmission is sealed to keep out water, mud, and trail grit and keep going strong. And you can go from 2-wheel to all-wheel drive on the fly at the flip of a switch. Hawkeye is the only ATV in its class with true on-demand all-wheel drive. That's twice as much ground-grabbing traction as the competition. Talk about sure-footed. The exclusive on-demand automatically senses when you need all-wheel drive and locks the front differential. With all 4 wheels working, the Hawkeye not only takes you places the competitors can't go, it will get you up, over, through, and back. Advantage? Hawkeye. Under the radar gun, the Hawkeye doesn't take a back seat to anyone. In 1/10 of a mile, we beat the competition for acceleration and top speed. Advantage? You guessed it. Don't forget to compare details, like our braided steel brake lines versus rubber lines that crack and break. Hawkeye has single-lever hydraulic disc brakes for superior braking power. Their drum brakes trap dust, dirt, and heat, resulting in weak braking performance. Hawkeye, with disc brakes all around, provides the most control in stopping. Suzuki has front disc only. Honda, drum brakes. They both slide sideways and lose control. See for yourself. Advantage? Hawkeye. Here's the summary. Plenty of power for any conditions. Exclusive on-demand all-wheel drive. Best in class for speed and sure, secure braking.
Full featured.
The inline shifting on the Hawkeye is simple and straightforward. Forward, neutral, reverse. Get on and go. Shifting the Honda into reverse requires a manual. 1, shift to neutral. 2, depress reverse button. 3, pull back the brake lever. 4, hold brake, shift to reverse. 5, release brake. 6, apply the gas. The Hawkeye has full digital instrumentation. Honda and Suzuki, zip. Hawkeye even has a gas gauge. Everyone else keeps you guessing. With a 4.5-gallon capacity, Hawkeye has greater range. That's more trail time per tank. Advantage? Definitely Hawkeye. Nothing can touch the Hawkeye for carrying capacity. It has nearly twice the capacity of Honda and Suzuki, with rugged composite racks front and rear with handy tie-downs. Advantage? Hawkeye. Lift up the front rack, and there's even integrated storage underneath. 14.6 liters, more than double the competition. Only Hawkeye protects your gear with sealed storage. Advantage? Hawkeye. Underneath, you can really see the differences. The Hawkeye is built for unmatched durability with full steel floorboards, heavy-duty drive shafts, and body armor. Suzuki has a less than durable stamped swing arm. Floorboards aren't attached to the frame, leaving your feet vulnerable to rocks and logs. Ouch! The bolt-on peg on the Honda has flimsy clip wires that could easily be knocked out of place. Not much support or protection here. Advantage? Hawkeye. Hands down. The summary? Simple, straightforward shifting. Exclusive digital instrumentation. The only gas gauge in its class. Exclusive sealed storage. Floorboards and undercarriage tough enough for off-road. Time for review. TUF. Technical superiority. Uncompromising performance. Full featured. Only Polaris gives you quick, easy solutions to gear up and get you to the trail faster. Installing lock and ride accessories is as simple as 1. Position the expanding anchor. 2. Push in the anchor to secure. And 3. Lock in. And ride on. The Hawkeye was designed from the ground up, but this isn't just an ATV that looks good on paper. The Hawkeye really proves its worth in the rough and tumble of the real world. After all, this machine got its DNA from the legendary Sportsman. The Hawkeye really changes the game. This is the no-compromise midsize, the first and only full-featured midsize. It's as simple as this. Nothing else compares. What's the value of these extras? Priceless when you're out in the rocks and ruts. That makes Hawkeye an ideal recreational machine, and all-around utility makes it a hard-working machine for hunters. The new Hawkeye gives you a lot of machine to sell, and your customers a lot of ATV for their money. The Hawkeye is one tough machine to beat. That's TUF. So bring on the competition, and let's ride.
Rules are made to be broken, and Polaris breaks all the rules with the all-new Outlaw, the first high-performance ATV with independent rear suspension, Pro IRS. This unique high-performance IRS is trail-tuned to revolutionize the sport quad. Outlaw sets the trail on fire with Pro IRS, Pro steering, a 500 engine plus reverse, forged A-arms, dual rate springs, center-mounted exhaust, and premium rims and tires. Watch as we compare the Outlaw with Pro IRS to traditional straight axle quads. Traditional sport quads have a swing arm rear suspension, a straight axle with low ground clearance, a steering system with lots of bump steer, and a front suspension with a single rate spring. Outlaw takes the sport quad in a whole new direction with independent rear suspension, high ground clearance, Pro steering, and a front suspension with a dual rate spring. Outlaw is powered by a high-revving 4-stroke 499cc engine. Put it all together, and you have a sport quad that's faster on the trails. Watch as we take each ATV from a dead stop through a rugged 187-foot corner. We'll run each machine 3 times for a combined average time. Watch the clock and see the speeds and times coming into and out of the corners. Into the corner, the YFZ 450's rear end comes off the ground, jarring the rider and slowing him down. Total average time through the corner, 10.98 seconds. The Honda TRX 450R hits the corner hard, bouncing down the trail. The rider has difficulty keeping the bars from ripping out of his hands. Average time through the corner, 10.34 seconds. The Raptor gets to the corner quick, then loses momentum as the A-arms scrape and polish the rocks on the course. Average corner time, 9.66 seconds. Now it's the Outlaw's turn. Breaking the rules, the Outlaw's rear wheels work independently, keeping all that power where it belongs, on the ground. The Outlaw's unique rolled Pro IRS, specifically designed for aggressive ATV riding, features a precision-engineered stabilizer bar with solid linkages and needle bearings to keep it flat in the corners. Outlaw screams through the corner as Pro IRS absorbs the hits, making any line the fastest line on the trail. Average total time, 8.81 seconds, up to 10% faster through this tight corner. Other sport ATVs that use straight axles have just over 4 inches of ground clearance. This soda can is higher than that. Every time they hit a rock or a stump, they end up losing traction and end up hopping and skipping down the trail, beating up the rider. The Outlaw's Pro IRS features dual Podium X Fox shocks with 10 inches of wheel travel and an incredible 11 inches of ground clearance. Pro IRS also has low unsprung weight, plus forged aluminum control arms angled 12 degrees for recessional wheel travel and a lightweight stabilizer bar. All this high-tech engineering makes Outlaw with Pro IRS faster over obstacles. Enough of this talk. Let's see it on the trail. In this test, the YFZ 450, with just 4.4 inches of ground clearance, slams into the rock, hitting the chain guard. The TRX 450R, also with 4.4 inches of ground clearance, hits the rock hard. Same goes for the Raptor 700R. The Outlaw, with 11 inches of ground clearance, easily clears big obstacles for fewer hang-ups on the trail and fewer bang-ups to the frame and suspension components. The result? Superior high-speed control, a faster ride over obstacles, and less rider fatigue. And when Outlaw is forced to slam into a trail obstacle, its thick, half-inch UHMW plastic takes the hit, protecting the rear end from damage. The Outlaw also has superior protection of the drive sprocket and disc brake. On rough uphill terrain, high-performance ATVs with traditional swing-arm rear suspensions lose speed every time a rear wheel leaves the ground. Here's a straight axle from the Yamaha YFZ 450. This is what delivers power to the ground.